Good evening. Welcome to the November 26th School Committee meeting for Foxborough Public Schools. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. I just want to make a note that we just entered out of executive session. So back to regular meeting. Okay. First thing is open public comment, and right now I am seeing none, so we're going to move right along to the approval of minutes. We have a package in here of one set of minutes, and that would be from October 1st, 2024. Any questions, discussion?
Brent and I weren't here. I wasn't there, so I don't have any comments on the minutes.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. So with two abstentions, I think we're going to have to...
No, I will. I'm happy to vote.
Oh,
I just
okay.
don't have any comments on the
Great.
on the
Okay,
minutes.
no comments. So that being said, would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the October 1st, 2024 Foxborough School Committee meeting notes as presented here.
I'll second that.
Great. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor of accepting the minutes? And that would be 400. Thank you very much. Moving right along, the superintendent update. Dr. Burdos.
All right. First, wanted to start off with an email that I had sent out regarding crossing guards to families last week, and that is that they are not allowed by law to direct traffic. And so we're working with public safety at this point in time right now. What we've learned is many crossing guards are actually under the police department in many districts. Not the case here. So we're also looking into potentially having them certified as flagmen and what that might look like. And then the Foxborough Police Department has been doing assessments on our traffic flow in all of our schools, and we're meeting with them next week to kind of talk about that. So that was a question with our Student Advisory Council at the high school. That was their first question because we know particularly at dismissal with students leaving pretty quickly. So just wanted to follow up on that, but that is something that we are exploring. Parent-teacher conferences are taking place. Wanted to mention that we did have with Microsoft, they had a nationwide issue that impacted our teams with Office 365. And any parents, if they were experiencing problems, I know the principals were, reaching out, particularly it was the high school, to reach out to their child's teacher if they were not able to connect for their conference. Had about 98% of it was fixed and by the time the Hearn conferences started to take place. But again, it wasn't a local issue. It was a nationwide issue with Microsoft. So we know that that was an inconvenience for some families, so please reach back out. And I know the high school had sent out a link to sign up if they needed to as well. And then it's not until the end of next week that grades 1 to 4 report cards actually go home. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for parents to hear about the growth of their children. During conferences, I know it's a time that I always loved meeting with families, and the teachers put a lot of time and effort into planning for conferences, so make sure that you get a chance to connect with your child's teacher. Many congratulations going out to a number of groups. So one of them at Foxborough High School, as far as we had 22 students through the Massachusetts Music Education Association, MMEA, that were recommended for Southeastern District Senior Music Festival in January. Out of those 22, 14 people were recommended, so congratulating them. It was a rigorous audition for them to be selected out of those 22, and then again 14 to be recommended to go further for the Southeastern District, which is January, I believe. And then if you want to hear them on December 12th, the holiday concert that takes place at the high school, the winter concert, will be taking place. So you can hear those fabulous musicians coming up on the 12th. Congratulations to our football team going back to Gillette for the Super Bowl. That's Friday, December the 6th at 5:30. And also, we are really appreciative to the craft group. They are going to do what they did last year in sponsoring 2 free tickets per student. So when those tickets start to go on sale, our students at Foxborough High School will get 2 free tickets thanks to the Graft Group, which is awesome. And specifics as far as how to get those tickets, Dr. Donovan and the high school will be sending out information regarding that. Also, they'll be competing in the Davenport championship for the Division League championship. Am I getting that right, Nathan?
Yes.
Okay. And that's taking place on the Thanksgiving game. So that's coming up too. So go Warriors. Congratulations to our cheerleaders. They won the state title again at Worcester State University. So that is the 5th state championship that they have won. So awesome. Went to the BIT auction on Friday night as well. That was a huge success. So it takes so much to be able to put that together with all of the volunteers. And it was held over at the Envision Hotel this year, and great turnout. And it really makes a huge difference for the enrichment opportunities that the PTOs are able to pull off through that auction to be able to support our students, which is so appreciated. And then I might steal thunder from somebody here, but on December 6th, we've got the Phantom Toll Booth, the drama production that's coming out at the Adjourn. So go out and see that one. The Charlie Brown was a great one. And so now we've got our Adjourn students that will be on December 5th, 6th, and 7th for that drama production. And then I guess the last one is really December 10th, our 6th grade concert that will be taking place with band, chorus, and orchestra. So lots going on. Get out, support our kids and all of the faculty that help support those clubs and activities, because they do an extraordinary job. And that's it.
Thank you. All great updates for sure. Congratulations to everybody. Next on the agenda is the school committee student representative report, but both school committee representatives had something come up and weren't able to be here, so we're just going to move right along on that. To our audit committee appointment, we've talked a lot about this, and we met Caroline Vines last meeting. We introduced her, so all that is needed right now is an official vote to add her as the school committee representative to the audit committee. So, any discussion or questions on that?
Motion to
Get
appoint.
your microphone. Sorry.
Motion to appoint Carolyn Rhines to the audit committee representing the schools.
Second.
Great. All in favor? And that would be 400. Thank you very much. Thank you to Caroline, too, for stepping up. We truly appreciate her volunteerism and commitment. Next, Secondary Schools Improvement Plan. Ms. Karen Frazier and Dr. Donovan, please come join us.
The clicker that's right there.
Thanks. Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to share our school improvement plan for the Adjourn Middle School. I think we have a lot of really exciting work happening at the middle school that we're really happy to share with you tonight. As you know, we work really closely with our school councils to develop our school improvement plans and to ensure their alignment to the district's plan for success. So they provide such valuable input and feedback on our plans, and they work so closely with us to monitor our progress and our success on those plans. So I would like to just acknowledge and thank the members of the Adjourn School Council. Our faculty representatives are Zach Diorsi and Kirsten Howden. Our community representative is Ashley Phillips from the YMCA. And our parent representatives are Jessica Rosado, Leanne Sciarra, and Christy Yankee. We also work together with the 3 elementary schools and the high school to ensure alignment among all 5 buildings, which I think you'll see. And as you know, this is the final year of the district's plan for success, so there is a lot of overlap, I think, from previous plans, with a lot of those objectives wrapping up this year. So we're just going to be highlighting any new additions or changes to the plan that you'll see. Thanks. So Pillar 1, facilities and infrastructure. The strategic objective is to provide a safe, secure, supportive, responsive, and innovative learning environment for all students. So we'd like to highlight the work that we're doing to integrate new interactive displays in our classrooms, new laptops for our teachers, and new 3D printers. Our teachers were issued new laptops at the very end of last school year. They have larger displays, better battery life, better overall functioning to support our teachers and the work that they're doing with their students in the classroom. This school year, at the start of the year, we installed 15 new interactive boards, primarily in math and science classrooms, with the goal being to replace older technology over time in all of our classrooms. Our digital learning coach and curriculum directors are working closely with our teachers to support them in the integration of that new technology. We also have 2 new 3D printers. So in addition to the 3D printer that we've had in our 7th and 8th grade art classroom, we've added 2 new 3D printers to our 5th and 6th grade STEM classroom. In particular, our 6th grade students in our Project Lead the Way design and modeling class are learning to use Tinkercad and learning to create. They will be learning soon to create with those 3D printers after a little bit of training. On Pillar 2, teaching, learning, and pedagogy. The strategic objective is to provide opportunities for educators to collaborate and create common, equitable learning experiences. So we're continuing to implement the recommendations from the ELA and science curriculum reviews. This year is a math curriculum review year, so we're working to develop those recommendations and to implement them. I think you'll see a lot of connections to what you heard from our curriculum directors at the last meeting and their baselines and benchmarks presentation. But a lot of these recommendations come from our analysis of student data, in particular, a lot of their assessment data from classroom assessments, district-wide assessments, and our MCAS results. So an ELA will continue to provide professional development to teachers in writing instruction, and in particular, building writing stamina in our students, and also in the science of reading. In science, you heard about how we've added the online platform Gizmos. It's really an opportunity for students to engage online with scientific experiments and to be able to digitally manipulate the data, to be able to see in real time how the change in the data changes the results of the experiments. But that reflects the shifts to the new science, technology, and engineering MCAS performance tasks. And in math, we're working really hard to integrate illustrative standards in grades 5 through 8 to bridge the concrete, pictorial, abstract progression in math. And really what that means is we want to make sure that for all of our students in grades 5 through 8, we're giving them concrete, hands-on tools and manipulatives to really gain a strong foundational understanding of those math standards and visual representations and opportunities to create visual representations of that math before they're moving into that more abstract problem solving. So that is our model of standards-based instruction. In our PLCs, teachers are working together to refine their lessons and enhance units of study to incorporate those illustrative standards, and importantly, ensuring that vertical alignment in grades 5 through 8. Also in Pillar 2, we've had a major focus at the middle school this year and really beginning about middle of last school year on supporting students in their executive functioning skills development. Our instructional leadership team at the middle school is working to lead our staff in developing a curriculum map to reflect the developmental needs of students at each age and grade level in our school, what's appropriate to expect of them in terms of their executive functioning, and what are some concrete strategies we can use to help them develop those skills, with the goal being to share that curriculum map with teachers and with families so that we can be working together home and school to support that skills development. So just some examples of what we've been doing this year at the middle school to support that work. We've implemented a school-wide color coding system and organization system for all of our students. Teachers in grades 5 through 8 are explicitly teaching our students how to use a daily agenda to record assignments and to plan for longer-term projects and assessments. In every classroom, when you walk into the room, there's a digital slide projected that has the learning goals for the day, the agenda with all of the learning activities that students will be working on, the homework for the night, and a do now. So as students are walking into the room, something that they should be working on right away to engage with the content of the lesson and to activate their learning for the day. So really what we're trying to do is make as much of the school day as predictable for students as we can, so that when inevitably those unpredictable moments do come up for them, they're better able to manage those in a social emotional sense. We also implemented a warrior block, which has replaced what you might remember or know as the 20 or the 20 minutes. We've restructured that time so that all of our 7th and 8th grade students arrive to their warrior block. The first 10 minutes of time is required sustained silent reading. And then once that 10 minutes is over, students have the option to continue to read, to work on homework, to get support from a teacher with their schoolwork, or to get additional support with that executive functioning.
Is it still 20?
It's closer to 30.
Okay.
Pillar 3, well-being. The strategic objective is to provide the necessary supports to ensure healthy minds and healthy bodies for all members of the school community. So at the middle school, we've really been working now for a number of years on restorative practices, but primarily that's been happening with myself, the assistant principals, our guidance counselors, and social workers. We've recently expanded that to incorporate the responsive classroom model in 5th and 6th grades. But really, we're working now to make sure that we're implementing restorative practices in all classrooms and all areas of our building, with the understanding that they're middle schoolers. They're going to make mistakes. They should make mistakes. We want to be working together with the students to help them take ownership for those mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and importantly, to repair any harm that might have been caused as a result of those mistakes. And that's the goal and the definition of accountability within the restorative practices. So we've had some professional development this year for all staff in restorative circles and community circles to be able to do some of that work with students in the classroom. And we'll be working with a consultant this year to train students in peer mediation so that we're empowering students as leaders and resolving some of that conflict, the minor conflict that comes up among them. And then finally, Pillar 4, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The strategic objective is to foster and strengthen the respect and actions of staff, students, and families to celebrate diversity, ensure equity, and practice universal inclusion. So you'll see some overlap, I think, between Pillars 3 and 4 here because we've really learned in the last couple of years that social emotional learning and diversity, equity, and inclusion are so closely interconnected. So we're really focusing this year on developing additional whole school inclusive opportunities and activities that engage all students and foster a socially inclusive school climate that emphasizes acceptance, respect, and human dignity for all students. So as you know, we have a wonderful unified sports program that we've started within the last couple of years. It's really grown pretty quickly. This year we have unified bocce, unified basketball, and unified cornhole. We've added a unified club so that we're giving students opportunities between those sports seasons to get together, so students with and without disabilities are coming together to play games, do puzzles, do crafts, cook, bake. They might be playing sports, but really anything that interests students that brings them together and that we can make accessible for all kids. We've added this year a unified wellness class to our school day. So we have students, again, with and without disabilities participating together in a wellness class. There's a class that takes place each day of the school cycle. We also want to expand those opportunities beyond sports and that physical activity. So we're looking at some of our student leadership groups. For example, our student council, our web leaders, our Learn, Laugh, and Lead club that you met here a couple of weeks ago, our leadership elective, and really trying to leverage those students that have been identified as leaders and thinking about how are we ensuring that all of our students who come into the Ahern Middle School look at our student leaders and see the potential in themselves to be leaders in our school, and also bringing them together to plan and lead some whole school events. So we already have a whole school pep rally for our unified basketball team. We get fans in the stands for our basketball games, but we want to expand that again, and maybe they're working together on a kindness week, a Spread the Word to End the Word campaign, celebrating World Down Syndrome Day. So we're excited that now for 2 years in a row we've been recognized by Special Olympics as a unified champion school, and we're hoping that in the spring we'll be applying for the national banner recognition from Special Olympics as a result of this work. So
Amazing.
good stuff.
Questions at the end? Or?
If you have questions for me before I pass it to Dr. Donovan.
No, thank you so much for all your hard work and for such a comprehensive presentation on everything you've been doing. Thank you. I'm sure this just scratches the surface, too.
Is that?
There you go.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
The Panorama Playbook Second Step Classroom, you and your staff have presented on that before. When and where and how, does that get infused into the students' existence in the school?
The second step program?
And the Panorama Playbook.
And oh, yes. So the Warrior Block that I mentioned is taking the place of the 20.
Sure.
To be more specific about that. So for 7th and 8th graders, that period of time happens each day, either before or after lunch,
Okay.
Depending on whether it's 7th or 8th grades. Every Monday, that time is dedicated to second step.
Cool.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is that official Warrior Block with that structure that I outlined. And Friday is still Warrior Block, but it has more of a structured social and community building kind of activity connected to it.
Awesome. And then, sorry. And then when it comes to restorative practices, does that, and forgive me if I'm not understanding where you're implementing it, I understand the peer mediation and that stuff. Does it also trickle to between teachers and administrators when a student is having a hard time adhering to community norms?
Yes.
Okay, so it's also infused on the admin end of things as well.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not looking to give that up, but wanting to make sure we're empowering teachers too.
Okay.
Really what we want to recognize is that if something comes up in the classroom,
Yeah.
really ensuring that we're empowering our teachers to have the strategies to be able to address that in the moment.
Sure.
We'll support them. We can do the follow-up. And of course, for things that might be a little bit more severe or impact a larger group, then that would be more for administration to be managing that restorative piece.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm fascinated about the executive development.
Yeah, that's
development, because it's a balance, right? You want to create predictability. You want to understand that unpredictability can create chaos, not large-scale chaos, but emotional chaos for people, right? But you also don't want to inhibit the development of the skills by simply always leading. So it's just, that's a balance, and I would love at some point, not tonight, to explore more about how that's being done, because that's something that's of personal interest to me. But I'm glad we're doing it, because we have seen a lapse, or a lapse in attention to, not lapse in development, a lapse in attention to development of those skills. So that's just something that's of particular interest to me. So thank you for highlighting that. I think the other question, or not, the other question I do have is on the facility side. Do you feel, as we move into the last year of this plan and start developing the plan for next year, do you have a good idea of what, from a facility perspective, areas that we could focus on? Certainly, we want to continue to build out the interactive displays and make sure that all the technology is up to date and all those things. But from a larger scale, are there some physical things that you think need to be done to the physical plant?
Yes. I mean, I think thinking longer term, I'd really love to be thinking about, what does furniture look like in our learning spaces down the road, right? What's the structure of our classrooms really look like as we're moving into the future with learning, right? I think, a lot of the resources that we have at the moment are things that have existed for a very long time, and while they're in excellent condition for the most part, really thinking more forwardly about what our learning spaces look like and what students really need to be able to engage in 21st century
Right.
learning.
So I appreciate that. So it's been a while since I've been in the Ahern, so I apologize for that. But we were fitting collaborative spaces into spaces that weren't designed to be collaborative, right? And then you see what's been done in other buildings as they've been redone.
Yeah.
The Borough being a really great example, right? Where spaces were purposely built to be collaborative. That would be one of the things that, and you just said that I would think we would want to try to do as we look at the longer future of the Ahern, knowing that our paradigm is not to build new, but to remodel and improve upon what exists as a footprint. That, like I said, that's something that I would love to see where we're going to go with that. So thank you.
Thank you.
No questions. Just a thank you to you and the entire committee for everything behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes into it.
Thank you.
For sure. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Dr. Donovan.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. So in Pillar 1, I wanted to highlight, just like Mrs. Fraser did here, the work that we've been doing with our new interactive displays and laptops and 3D printers. We have 2 new 3D printers in the building. We'll have some more as the year goes on. We were very fortunate to get a Project Lead the Way grant, which provided us with like $40,000 of new equipment in our science lab. So our science lab has been totally refreshed to work with that curriculum. And we have 11 of the multi-touch interactive displays around the building. And one of the work that our teachers have doing over the first part of the year is really just how to use the equipment, how to get students up at it, how to use it themselves. And really what we want to shift is our focus on really optimizing the environment. So we are a Teams-heavy environment. The device has a lot of internal software for things it can do, and really what we want to figure out is how do we optimize the environment that our students are in most of the day digitally with the hardware in the classroom. And so that's going to be a real focus area for us as we kind of move beyond that like early substitution stage of adopting new technology. In Pillar 2, I really want to highlight the LINK program, which is new to Foxborough High School this year. The LINK has been a part of the middle school's environment for many years. We have began our partnership with Landmark Schools last spring to prepare for a language-based, to support our students who have language-based disabilities who have been moving through the district. Through your support, last year we added a staff member to the high school to be our kind of center of the wheel for support for these students for the foreseeable future for the next many years. With Landmark has been coming to the high school about every 6 weeks. Going back into last spring, they've been meeting with our guidance staff, with our special education staff, with me, trying to plan how do we plan teaming and team teachers, and where do we've had to increase our team teaching as a result at the high school. How do we move kids through learning centers, and also how do we build for year 2 and year 3 within the staffing and resources we have. They've been very helpful. They've been providing workshops to staff that staff can participate in during the summer and on their own time, and also been coming out and doing coaching sessions with our teams, our team teachers, and our program teacher in the LINK program to help meet the needs of our students. And we're very fortunate because it's the same staff who helped the middle school develop their LINK program. So we've had a lot of support coming out of the middle school, and a lot of great resources and partnerships with Landmark. So they've been fantastic. In Pillar 3, we've begun focusing. Our mental health team has made it a priority this year to better to expand our Tier 1 supports, and in particular our training for teachers. So if you think of the middle school, in every grade there are really 2 teams of teachers that support the vast majority of students. At the high school we have, you can make an argument that we have like 740 unique teams of teachers that support our students. And so we are not structurally well situated to be able to provide MTS services like other schools in the building, other buildings in the district do. So we've been working kind of in parallel tracks to see if there's a way that we can optimize our schedule and really make changes to the scheduled day to create time to do that, and also create time to better support students and have students get a second dose of any content area during the day. And we have some really good ideas there that we're going to bring to faculty in the next couple of weeks, and we'll almost surely be here to share with you in the spring. But one of the other things we've done is we've reorganized our student support teams. So we had one large team that met for all students in the building, and we've now broken that up with assistant principals and social workers being the center of that, and guidance counselors, to be able to be more responsive to student needs and to teacher needs when they see and coordinate better between the teams of teachers. And one of the first steps is that Tier 1, giving teachers the freedom to be able to implement changes. At the high school, we did not participate in the MTSS academies like the other schools have, in large part because of the structure and the priority was at the elementary and middle schools. So when that best practices manual rolled out around the district, it was just after COVID, and that wasn't necessarily a major priority at the high school as we were leading up with MASC and our MASC accreditation process. So really we want to dive back in at the base level, make sure we develop a common language among staff for what the Tier 1 accommodations can be, make sure that we are collecting and sharing data and assessing the efficacy of the interventions. And I think most importantly, empowering teachers to use them without having to get permission from somebody else. And that's a real mindset shift within secondary staffs in general. And then moving forward here, I want to highlight and thank some people. Our Community Cousins program started last year. Mrs. Wiley did a wonderful job of trying to connect with organizations in town like Foxborough Cable Access to create opportunities for our students to engage in the community who are in the MECO program and may have a gap in their afternoon to help fill that time. She also did a lot of networking between families in the MECO program and families in Foxborough, trying to create relationships between families where kids have a place to go if they need a couple hours of downtime. And one of the areas that we need to continue to grow that. We don't have matches for all of our kids. We don't, it is we want these things to happen organically and these relationships to build, but they do need a kickstart at just the right grade and just a great grade level. And we're working, and we're going to continue to work to try to make that happen. One of the things that we've realized with our high school students is that we're very fortunate at Foxborough that we have the commuter rail in both in town and in Mansfield and Sharon. But most of our students don't know how to use it. So today is a perfect example. We had our Powerpuff games after school. So we had a number of students who stayed after 12 o'clock. They didn't have the late bus because it was a half day, so there was no 3:30 late bus. So there was no time between 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock when it ended and the next bus came at 5:15. So we took a bunch of kids and we went to Mansfield and got them on the commuter rail and they got home. So we need to start to find ways to better take advantage of the public transportation around that the kids, by the very nature of being in the MECO program, have the ability to access at no charge. So we want to start to work with our families so that they understand how they can better use it. The two different lines kind of end up in two different places in Boston. Our kids are really savvy. We've learned on the buses and subways, but the commuter rail is an opportunity for growth, and so that's where we're going to focus on that as part of this work this year.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much. I will say,
May I just do one thing? I'm sorry.
Yes.
To interrupt you. I just really want to thank the members of the school council. We have wonderful people at the high school. Stevie Strachan, who's a student representative, Michael Murphy, who is new this year, Sarah Ladani, Michelle Paluzzi are our parent reps, Michael Weber is our community rep, Dr. Zalewski and Mrs. Geffers, who are our faculty reps, and many of whom who have been on the school council for many years. So just very grateful to their continued participation and support of the students at the school and of our school improvement plan. Thank you.
thank you. So, thank you guys. The best part about this, and I said this when the elementary came in, I love the alignment. Sophia's in grade 12, and I don't think I'd want to go back, but I love the alignment, like the way that I'm seeing all of our schools just align and everybody working together to just make sure that they really are living the mission of MTSS, taking that student from preschool in a lot of cases all the way through year 12, like grade 12. I see it so much when you guys present, so thank you. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of communication, time. It's so appreciated, though, when we look at it through that lens. It's like really powerful work, so thank you. Anyone else?
Sure. As you look, I empathize with the nature of any high school schedule, trying to implement intervention teams. That's that's a tall order. So I like that you're trying to do that, which is hard when it comes to that, because it is. what levers are you and your team looking at as you look at like the tier 2 study program? I mean, is this like within the school day? Is it outside? Like, what are your best opportunities given what you have?
So we are, we're trying, we have our kind of pilot program running right now. So we have about a dozen students in the first quarter that were targeted based on kind of previous academic performance.
Sure.
And we have been pulling them kind of like once a cycle from a different class and having them work with one of the social workers we have. We have some interns this year, some of the staff in our bridge program, special ed teachers, a different person depending upon the day. Just really, it's very aligned with what Ms. Fraser was talking about with like executive functioning. That is really the issue we're seeing. And
Yeah.
so it's almost like 1-on-3 coaching of like, here's your work, where is it? Let's find it, let's turn it in. And for students who have been really participating and taking advantage of it, which is the vast majority, I would say all but maybe 10 of 12, who have
Yeah.
been faithful about coming every week and the coordinating and being there, they showed significant improvement. And so one of the things that we're trying to think about is like,
Great.
now,
Great.
how do we exit them from that
Yeah.
support? And how much long, like what is our, do we want to see 2 quarters of consistent growth and then moving out? We're very fortunate at the high school. We have tutoring services available to all students all day long, which most high schools don't, with our math tutor who's there
That's
all
true.
day and our ELA and social studies tutor, Ms. Norick. So our challenge is always like getting people to them. So unless they have a study hall, unless a kid has a study hall, which most freshmen and sophomores don't,
Right.
it's really hard to access the tutors.
Yeah.
So in looking at this, the work the schedule committee is doing is trying to figure out, can we stop the building and allow teachers to pull students to advocate for extra help by going to sign up with teachers, similar to like almost like a win block
Yeah.
that a lot of schools have adopted, and find a way to kind of get kids where they need to go, and then what are we going to do with that other group of students who may not necessarily feel like they need support that day or are in a good place. And so we've got a model that we're going to take the faculty next week and try to find the gaps in our thinking. But we've got a committee of about 12 teachers at the high school have been working on it for a year and have been awesome.
That's great.
So it's been great.
And then, thank you very much. The other area that I saw in there that was a bit of a teaser of the what's next for Vision of a Graduate, and how do you show that? In line with that, and I guess this question is for both of you. I mean, you all will work on the next plan for success, but just out of curiosity, are there things that you already have in mind now that you're excited to share, like that with admin and the other building leaders that are important to you? Like, if you had a short list of what do you want for the next? And that's a totally.
Aaron, Jim wants you to go first. 'Cause
I can feel that.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, I think back to Rob's question from moments
yeah.
ago. I
was trying to steal Rob's
not
question.
I think at the high school, now that we have our Vision of the Graduate, I think we really want to focus on what does living that look like?
Yeah.
So I think that's a major push for us. I think with our change from a curriculum standpoint, we've done a lot of work of, Dr. Burrows has led a tremendous amount of work in building our curriculum out because it wasn't something that was visible. It wasn't something that people could interact with. And now we largely can for nearly all of our classes at the high school.
Yeah.
It's kind of the one-offs and departments and that are the classes left to go. I think now we have to get to a cycle where those are living documents and they're stuff that gets updated, and we can work from and they're flexible, but also that they incorporate the vision of the graduate in some way.
Yeah.
And I think with our students, the beauty of that document is that it really it requires kids to have engaged in the community and their communities in all different ways to be able to demonstrate that. And what we need to figure out is exactly what we're looking for them to, how we want them to show us what they know and what they've learned. and creating enough partnerships and relationships within our community so that the kids have the ability to go out and do it, and then come back and share. But those are things I'm broadly excited about.
Wonderful.
The
Thank you.
plants is I'm ready for that
To be
project too.
continued.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just piggybacking on that a little bit, taking that work and really thinking about what does that mean for our students pre-K to 8 too, in terms of that
You're right.
vision of a graduate. And one of the things that I really appreciate about this process is, when we first took a look at, what the district's plan for success would look like, we had the whole school community together, right? We had representation from all of our teachers. We had family representation in different ways, community representations, and really defining together what it is that we want our students to get from their education here in Foxborough. So I think coming back to that and really, we've met our goals. What does this look like next? And what do we really want for our students to get from their experience here?
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I do. So first, I don't know whose idea it was or who had the thought or what group had the thought about the commuter rail, but that is just a joyful thing to celebrate, right? Because it's such a real life opportunity, and it's something that most people probably wouldn't think of as being an opportunity, or that there's even a need to find an opportunity, right? So that's just a really, really simple and great, I know it's not simple to execute, but it's a simple and great solution. So kudos to whoever came up with that. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Sarah said. And with all the presentations that we've had over the last few weeks, and the thing that keeps going in through my head is Noelle's phrase at the last meeting about a cross-curricular celebration. I can't say curricular very well. Cross-curricular, see, I can't do it. You know what I mean now. Thank you. CCC, and just the rhythm of the data. But what we're seeing with all of this really is the best comparison I have is for when we talk about kids with chronic medical conditions, right? The idea of creating a medical home so that the child ultimately learns that they have a whole support system with them, but they also learn how to manage their condition on their own as they reach, more maturity, right? The idea of the executive function. So what we're seeing here with the alignment across all of the grades is the whole idea of our students learning how to take responsibility for their own education. And it comes from the I can't say that word either. Competency-based learning that we're doing, from the stuff we're doing around executive function, the MTSS stuff. All of this has really come together to say, you have an education home, but ultimately our job as a school system is to teach you or to give you the skills that you need and the voice that you need to go out into this world, whatever you choose to do next. And we're seeing it example after example after example, the success of it. So I get really excited about that, which is why I can't pronounce the 3-syllable words when I have to. So, and that's all. I just want to say thanks, because it's really exciting. I drove my wife crazy talking about how I was excited I was last time, but I'll drive her again crazy this time, because I'll go home and talk more about this. So thank you guys for giving me stuff to talk about over dinner with my wife.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so
for all
much.
of your support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Dr. Donovan, I think you're staying with us.
Great.
You're not getting off the hook that easy.
No, it's okay. It's very exciting.
Dr. Donovan has some overnight travel we need to approve and vote on. So can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, so we are bringing a lot of travel. We try to consolidate it into one. I think there'll be maybe one more visit. But some of this is fairly routine. The music trip to New York City, the Ellington Jazz Festival. There are some new trips. For example, on the second page, the wrestling team. So this is the state meet this year. The all-state meet is in Methuen. Last year it was in Salem. Parents have traditionally gone up and just rented hotel rooms, and it's been kind of loose. So this is kind of bringing that under the under the hood of it being an official field trip. It's unclear at the moment how many students would be involved. It is largely because these meets tend to take 2 days, or they definitely take 2 days. I went last year to Salem, and the parents and coaches would prefer to stay in that area, possible. Winter track is another new one. That's to the Armory in New York City. We have a couple of students who have qualified. They have gone previously not as Foxborough High School students, but really we want to make sure that it is it's our coaches and our kids, and we feel like we should run it in that way. Cheer Nationals, our cheer team, as Dr. Berto said earlier, qualified for Nationals again. They've won 5 state championships in 3 years. It's remarkable. And I think they placed second twice in that same window. So that is that trip. Another new one, the boys ice hockey team, they have picked up Nantucket on their schedule this year, and they would like to try to spend the night to ease the travel burden somewhere in the greater Barnstable area. So that is new. And then the final ones are DECA, the DECA trip, and then finally the history club trip to New York City, which the school committee has previously approved.
Fantastic.
So, motion to approve the 11 overnight the travel proposal for 11 potential overnight trips for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions?
No, that's
Seeing
good.
none, all in favor?
Oh, wow.
All right, that would be 400. Thank you, Dr. Donovan. While you and Ms. Frazier are still here, it's my fault. I missed that we do have a vote on the secondary school improvement plan.
To accept those.
Yes, to accept that. So
Thank you for the catch.
we're just going to back that up. Would you like to make a motion?
Can I do them both at once?
Yes.
I move that we accept the Foxborough High School and Ahern Middle School
Secondary and school.
secondary
improvement.
school plan improvement plans as presented tonight.
Second.
Thanks.
Great. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor? And that would be another 400 vote. Again, thank you for the work. Sorry
Thanks, nice catch.
for the miss on that. Next, Ms. Sheridan for the approval of grants.
Yep. So in your packet is a listing of the FY25 grants that the district has received to date. It also has a little bit of information on a description and the purpose for each grant, as well as there's some notes on some things that particular grant is paying for. So similar to accepting of donations, the school committee should also vote to accept the grants. These are the grants that you have to date. So as we get new grants, then I would bring them forward as we get them for the acceptance of those grants as well. But for now, we have 13 grants that the district has received thus far in FY25, and they equal $1,513,387. So if anybody has any questions, other than that, we would need a vote to accept the funds, and I did give you a little bit. You should accept the funds and use such funds with their intended purpose.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Karen, I do have one question. I'm sorry. In the 5th column, GEMS is?
Oh, that's just for, that's the, there's 2 different systems online that we use. So for Judy and I and Caroline, we just had that so we know which system it is. There's Ed Grants and GEMS.
Thank you.
So I should have hid that column.
You can thank the Department of Education for that confusion. When we have a grant, is this in GEMS or is this in the other? Is it the old system or the new system?
GEMS is the new system
Okay.
that the Department of Ed rolled out, and before it was Ed Grants. So
Okay.
GEMS is actually an acronym, Grants for Education Management System. So we love our acronyms in education.
Yes, you do.
For you.
Yes, you do.
More
them
dinner
all straight.
conversations. So
Plagues,
thank you, Stephanie,
it
for that.
plagues me.
I move, if I may, sorry. Madam
Sure.
Chair. I move that we accept the 13th grants as presented in the total amount of $1.513 million.
Second.
Fantastic. All in favor? 400 again. We are on a roll. Thank you very much for all your work. This, we talk about all the work that goes on with the teachers and the educational presentations, but we don't talk about all the work. There's a lot of work that goes behind this spreadsheet, so thank you very much.
That's right.
Much appreciated to you and the office.
Kudos to the staff as well. So.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. We've got rolling right into acceptance of donations. Did Dr. Burt, are we going to go over these individually?
Sorry,
I don't know usually.
We can let
Or
Karen.
Ms. Sheridan? Okay,
Let me
we'll
just
go right.
grab them.
Yeah, we have to accept them all the time.
Sorry, I saw your name.
So again, there is some donations to accept as well. So you have a Special Olympics for the borough, which, what's that one? That one is $500. You have the Special Olympics for the high school, which is $1,000. The third one is from the Foxborough Basketball Association for the HUDL upgrade, and that's $585 and 25 cents. That one is a restricted donation. The Wegmans has given a donation to support the Foxborough Public Schools with a $500
Awesome.
Wegmans gift card for the drama program.
Yeah.
That's that one. And the Marilyn Rodman Foundation is a donation of theater tickets to the High School History Club, 30 tickets to see the production of Hamilton at the Providence Performing Arts Center, which is a great play. So I saw it and it was wonderful. So the tickets will be utilized by 28 students in the History Club with 2 chaperones. So those are the donations to accept.
Thank you so much.
Do you want one motion for all, or do you want individual motions?
I think you can do one motion for all of them.
So motion to accept the 5 donations as listed this evening, and with much gratitude to those organizations.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much. From the Foxborough School Committee, we appreciate all of the donations, and we do accept them with gratitude. Thank you. All right, moving right along. My partner in crime at the MASC, Michelle Thaxton, couldn't be here tonight, but we are going to do an MASC wrap-up because there was so much content and so much going on, and we wanted to bring some of that back to the committee and to open meeting and to the community to tell them a little bit about what the Massachusetts Association of School Committee Joint Conference is and what we kind of did and accomplished. Now, I'm sitting here fumbling because I'm looking, one of the most important for me, from the lens that I looked through at my time, one of the most poignant sessions that I sat through, because it's multiple sessions over the course of 3 days, was based on Brent and Nate, some of the work you guys are doing in policy subcommittee. It kind of like spoke to my soul because I felt like the presenter, his name was Charlie Ellis, it was like Brent went into his mouth and verbalized everything that you were trying to accomplish with like onboarding new members and creating a guide and some of like just making it a little bit more easy and a little bit more fluid, onboarding new members and kind of creating a process. And I know that you guys are working on that. So that was really exciting for me to sit in on, and they provided us with actual documentation, which I can make sure everybody gets, the documentation and an actual playbook and roadmap to exactly how they did it, the how, the why, the where. And this gentleman, Charlie Ellis, who, I'm sorry, I forget his school committee, I believe it's a regional school committee, but he was a presenter for Massachusetts Association of School Committee. But he actually, afterwards, I was asking him so many questions and getting so excited and talking about the work that you guys are doing. And he goes, you know what, you're not that far. I think it's Leominster. He said, you're not that far. If they want to meet, I'd be really willing to meet. So I have his email, I have his phone number. I'd love to give Jamie all the information, make sure you guys get it. If you wanted to reach out to him as a touchstone, he's been the chair of the school committee. It's in Westford, Massachusetts. He's been the chair of the school committee for 9 years, and literally, it was such a great, great and poignant, session for me to attend, because it really felt like you guys are rolling up your sleeves and doing the hard work on the policy subcommittee. It just felt like it all connected. It was really good. So that was one of the highlights for me. The other highlight for me, and I'm not being paid as an advertisement or anything, but Tim Shriver did this thing called the Dignity Index. And if anyone gets a chance to listen to his podcast or look up the Dignity Index, it was really moving. You were in the session with me when he talked about, he was the keynote speaker one of the mornings, and it really impacted me, because it's about how we regard each other, just in any kind of way, shape, or form. And again, everything kind of connects. And in education, it's how we approach things. And it was really, really impactful to me. And so they gave us these wonderful handouts, but he really was motivational to me, and a lot of the work that we do here with SEL and with MTSS, and really trying to personalize the educational experience, this really kind of spoke to my soul. So if anyone gets a chance to do that as well, to look that up, the Dignity Index with Tim Shriver, it's worth looking into and looking at, because I thought it was wonderful. I did bring my manual with me. There was so much more content. I think we did 4 or 5 sessions a day with keynote speakers. So we just, every single day, we're just going in and out. And we were careful. Michelle and I wanted, to just bring this to the committee, that we were careful. We didn't overlap anything. We didn't sit next to each other, and except for keynote and anything that was joint and group. We really did try to spread ourselves around. She did hit at least 2 different budget and grant and different sessions that she went to. We just tried to divide and conquer. So it was a great experience. Overall, I don't know if you have anything you want to add. You were there for the time.
I think what it does for me is it solidifies the work that we're already doing in the district. It's a point of pride with all of the work that we're doing. So like the Dignity Index that Sarah's talking about, I had many connections to the work that we are already doing through our pillars, through the well-being pillar, when we think about restorative practices, when we think about responsive classroom, like all of the things. There's many, many connections there. Our focus on belonging, it really was threaded throughout the different sessions. So I think that it connects it for us, for the work that we're doing. I think it also highlights the support that we have from our school committee and how involved you are. So many of the presentations, like when you even think about the school improvement plans tonight, you're well versed. When you talk about the excitement and dinner conversations, you know what's going on in schools. And I think that it just shows that constant communication that goes back and forth between the meetings and what we have as topics on the agenda. Mm-hmm. So it solidified a lot of things for me, as it always does each year.
Yeah, it's great. And Dr. Berta spoke on, actually ran a panel with the Salem schools, and I just sat in on it, on welcoming newcomers. So we got to talk a little bit about our district and some of our practices and the things that Dr. Bertos has done for welcoming newcomers. And that was really, that was really amazing for me to kind of see a room full of people just kind of really engaging. And we had a few really nice comments, people that came up to us, one publicly during the session saying it was the best session he had sat through, and I thought that was really nice the entire time, and then somebody else coming up to us afterwards. But it was really nice, and it made me feel like just to have people on the outside looking in support the work that we're doing and so passionate about was really nice.
So that session too, I think, speaks to, so when you had MASC come in and work, and Tracy came in, she had, through MASC, had contacted the Department of Education and said they wanted to do a session on newcomers and the impact on communities, and what are some districts that are doing a really nice job, and to be able to have them present. And so that particular phone call came the day after she had met with all of us as far as this planning summer retreat. And they said Foxborough. She's like, I was just with Foxborough last night. So she reached out and asked, because we had two different stories that we told. So Salem is a very different district, and as far as it's an everyday occurrence, as far as the enrollment of newcomers. And for us, our story was much different. And then really it was the community that came together in our task force, and how we handled that as a greater community and all of the people that were on that task force, and then what it looks like daily. And then really it comes down to the teachers in the classroom and what they have done with our newcomers, and then the building administration too. It was a success story, and it's because of the work of many.
For sure. It was amazing. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Obviously, if anyone has any questions or any targeted information that they're looking for, we're always happy to get that to you. We're an open book, but yeah, thought it was important to add to the agenda, to have the discussion, and to give people the opportunity if they wanted to ask us questions about it, but also to let you know like what we're doing when we're not on camera.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. And now, as long as I see no questions, we're going to move right along to the community update section. I'm going to start with Rob.
Yeah, just to remind everyone, as Dr. Burtis said earlier, December 5th and 7th at the middle school, Phantom Toll Booth, and then the two concerts on December 6th and December 12th. It is really important that our community gets out and supports all of our students in as many activities as they can. As you heard me say earlier, there's really some great stuff happening, and we're really proud of all of the work that's being done at all grade levels. So December 5th, 6th, and 7th, December 6th, and then December 12th. Did I have the 6th right? Is that for the concert as well? Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's it.
All right. Nate, nothing? Karen, anything? Stephanie? Dr. Burtis?
I would just say that I hope that everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with their family and friends, and wherever they're traveling, safe travels as well.
For sure. Brent?
Nothing new.
I have a couple things. So, first of all, I got the opportunity through my work to go in and speak to the high school students a little bit about some volunteer opportunities. And I love volunteerism, and I'm so proud of our students. It was such a wonderful experience. Everybody was so engaging. All the high school students were just, I'm so proud of them. Like, I really am. Everybody gets excited about volunteering and helping, and they engage. So this year, it's going to be our second year partnering with them, and they're going to sponsor a domestic violence shelter. The National Honor Society is going to coordinate everything. It's really amazing. So, hats off. And our Community Warriors Club, they are purely volunteer-based. They're not grade-based. They do the same kind of work, day in, day out. So at that meeting, the new director came. So I will tell you, this weekend on Saturday is Light Up Town. That's going to be a really fun, exciting event. We're going to have a lot of volunteers that you'll see from the schools. And just FYI, just like a housekeeping thing, the center of town's going to be shut down from 4 to 7, so stay away from the common. But aside from that, I'm good. Oh, I have to say hi to Ariana and Enzo. I'm watching my grandniece and grandnephew for the last 5 days, and they asked me where I was going. I said, I'm going to a meeting, but I would say hi to them. So, and a happy Thanksgiving to all. Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right. All in favor? And we're on a complete roll, 4-0-0. Thank you very much.